Good morning, everybody, and thanks for waking up with the Chase.
No way.
My God!
That's a 1-1, ladies and gentlemen.
Go to Dave's camera. I must ask you a question right now.
1-1, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
Sit back, relax, and crack a cold one. The Chase is live. Hi, welcome to Chili's.
I almost just yawned so loud. Ooh, you had a little fizzle effect.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
Cheers to a Monday morning. No, this is not a Rolling Rock beer. This is Liquid Death. Do I wish it was a beer? I don't know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Bloomy, it's in the afternoon. Good morning to the chat. Good morning to everybody in this room. Everybody outside this room. I guess you get a good morning, too. This is The Chase. Thank you for waking up with us on this Monday. I'm Troy Castro alongside my co-host, David Yarger.
Good morning, Troy. How was your weekend?
Oh, wonderful weekend. For all you Canadian fans out there, I took in a Hamilton Tiger Cats game on Friday where they took on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And let me tell you, I sat front row. That's right. And all together, I paid $56 on StubHub to get front row tickets. And the Ticats pulled it out, 18-14. Oski Wawa, Oski Wee Wee, Holy Mackinac, Ticats, eat 'em raw.
So what are they now?
Thank you.
6 and 10?
They are now 5 and 10.
5 and 10.
Shh. Anyways, David, how was your weekend?
Wild.
Do tell.
So
Please.
Saturday, I went to Cleveland, Ohio for Game 2 of the wild card series between the Guardians and the Rays. Obviously, many of you know Guardians are my team. I sat through 15 innings of a 0-0 baseball game. And finally, thank God for Oscar Gonzalez, SpongeBob himself, with the walk-off dinger. Charge!
Nice. Good timing, Dave. You're getting better on the board.
I know. That was awesome.
You're getting better on the board. Even though yesterday, if you guys didn't watch, our Dave and Adams crew were out at the Buffalo Bills tailgate. We did a break. Jersey John, our boy Chase, Patrick, the Dolphin, was behind the camera. Elena was out there shotgunning with people. I mean, it was just unreal. If you want to catch the replay, I think that is going to be up on the DA Car World YouTube and the Twitch channel. But Dave was all over the place with the noises yesterday, so he's getting better. He's getting better. It's a work in progress. But you know what else is a work in progress until I get the quote of the day? Is this episode. So I think you need to wash away those Monday morning blues and help us out here. Could you
Yes.
lift my spirits?
I can definitely help you out.
Please.
Successful people ask for the criticism of others. Ray DeLeo. Nice.
That's it, huh? Short, sweet, and I guess you would say to the point.
To the point.
Yeah, so
Direct.
that quote actually has me motivated to give away some Panini Prism baseball cards that David and I ripped on Friday. If you remember, I went crazy over a stained glass, found out it is a common insert in the baseball, but something that is not a common insert that David ended up pulling is one lucky person is about to get the Tiger Stripe Bryce Harper.
Yes, sir.
Tiger Stripe Bryce Harper, another team who is actually advancing into the divisional series. So I think the longer that Bryce Harper is in the playoffs, the more this card might be worth. I don't know. Just saying. Anyways, go to my phone because Meerkat gave me the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Can I get a drum roll, please? And there it is. This one is going out to TJ Plays 74 on Twitch with the Yankees versus the Braves. He thinks the Yankees are going to win in 6. So for those of you who don't remember, we asked what you thought the World Series matchup would be. So there you go. TJ thinks it is going to be Yanks, Braves, Yanks in 6.
Yanks got a tough opponent coming up.
Actually, I did see that Aroldis Chapman got left off the
He did.
playoff roster.
Because he missed a workout or something.
Well, he sucks. Anyways, good morning to the mothers in the chat, obviously. I see Lisa there, and I see Mrs. Yarger.
Yes,
so
good morning.
We love to see it. So thanks, guys, for joining us. And, yeah, one last congrats to TJ there. So let's check out what we'll be talking about today. We're going to have what's fresh in this week's Wax. Also, a flag autographed by recently single Tom Brady is making some headlines. We're going to have our Week 5 standouts in the NFL as well. The MLB wildcard round also just finished, as David and I were talking about, and it's on to the division series. We'll see who stood out in the first weekend of the playoffs, and we'll, of course, have another box rip giveaway. We tell you guys to join in on these. I don't understand. If you're watching, you can win these boxes. So just watch. Just watch the chase. Just jump in the chat. Free. So anyways, how about I kick it over to you, though, and you get us started with what is hitting shelves.
I'm sorry. I had to add the recently single thing on the script.
You just do whatever you want. Oh, Dad's here, too. What's up, Pops?
I'm sorry.
According to my mother.
I'm a pain in the ass, I know.
No, you're not. Trust me, there's people way worse than you.
All right. Well, this week's Wax, all Wednesday releases. Kicking off this week, we have 2022 Panini National Treasures Collegiate Football Hobby. Here, you're going to be looking for 7 autographs or memorabilia cards per box, 1 base or parallel card per box, and also college materials signatures. Additionally, be on the look for team slogan signatures and team logo signatures. Your big-time rookies here are going to include Kenny Pickett, who made his first start yesterday, Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Sam Howell, and Jamison Williams. So big into the collegiate product. Make sure you're checking those out. Some sick patches right there. That Kenny Pickett right there, nice.
Yeah, actually, that was a really nice one. But of course, everybody knows that that product definitely a higher end product. So you're going to look at some nice, aesthetically high quality cards.
Yes.
Next up, we got one of Steve's favorite products. That's right, Breaker Steve. I'm excited to see him break it, and I'm going to want to break some too. How about the 2022 Prism WNBA basketball hobby? WNBA Prism returns with a new lineup of rookies, stars, and legends. Be on the look for 2 autographs, 24 Prism parallels, and 10 inserts per box on average. There are some unique inserts in this product as well, including the Get Hyped, Emergent, and Color Blast. Ooh, Steve, if you're listening right now, how about a Kelsey Plum Color Blast? Am I right? Lastly, there are 12 packs per box and 12 cards per pack. Maybe you can get yourself a Kelsey Plum auto out of this. It's like David knew I was going to talk about Kelsey Plum.
Yes.
But don't forget, there's, who else? Sabrina Ionescu, Deladon, you see on the screen. I think I saw the Color Blast was Taurasi.
Brianna Stewart's there, too.
I think, right? Is that Diana Taurasi?
Diana Taurasi, yep.
So I'm actually speaking of get hyped. I'm pretty hyped for this product. Steve, a huge WNBA guy now, so I'm hoping that Steve got a couple breaks scheduled for that later in the week when he's on Thursday and Friday. Steve is feeling better. Thank you for asking. He is back today. We saw him this morning. He looks 100%. My man's is good to go.
He's going to educate so many people during that break. He knows so much about the WNBA. It's amazing. He's taken us under his wing.
Yeah, he's teaching me. I know. I'm like I can't wait for next season. I think I'm going to start watching WNBA.
Indeed.
He's the professor, that Steve guy.
The professor, indeed. Class is in session. Anyways, next, let's head to the Diamond with 2022 Topps Archives Baseball Hobby. Each box contains 2 on-card autos, and you'll want to search for the hobby-exclusive blue parallels. Also, be sure to check out the 1 oversized postcard box topper that comes in each box. There you see Cal Ripken, little 2005 Topps Draft auto right there, and then O'Neal Cruz. Pretty sweet. I like the classic looks to the baseball cards.
Yeah, that's why I love Archives. Archives and Heritage are always 2 of those products every year you could look out for from Topps that are going to have that old school flair with the new school players. And, of course, I'd love to get – that's a nice cheater right there, too. I would love to get some O'Neal Cruz, or obviously this gentleman up on the screen here, Shohei Ohtani. Amazing. But, yeah, always love when they bring back the old school flair. Can't wait until they get into the late 80s, early 90s cards. They're getting there. I think they're creeping their way towards there. Next up, we have a Dave Stevens favorite. I didn't know this was your favorite, Dave. Apparently David knew this. So Dave Stevens apparently loves Space Jam: A New Legacy. I don't know. There are 3 hits per box though, and you can look for rare autographs of LeBron James. That's right, because remember, this is an Upper Deck product. LeBron James being an Upper Deck exclusive athlete, so you can get autographs of him from the movie. In addition to Bron autos, look for autograph cards, manufactured patches, and film cells, 3D lenticulars, thank you, and cosmic relics. So that should be fun.
I think Stevens is more of a classic Space Jam guy.
Oh, yeah, I'll be honest with you right now. I will never watch this movie. And I know we're getting off the topic of sports cards. I will never watch this movie. Space Jam with Michael Jordan is the one and only. And Newman's in there, too. I forgot what it is. Wayne Knight. Wayne Knight's in the original. Bill Murray, you know. Yep. I don't want to watch this with LeBron.
Oh, Barkley was in that.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy
Short
Bogues,
Kings.
Yep.
I'm here for the Short Kings. Go off. Muggsy Bogues. Love it.
And lastly, back to the diamond, we have 2022 Prism Quick Pitch Baseball. Each box contains 1 autograph and 10 donut circle prisms. Love me some donuts. Additionally,
Yum.
You're going to be swinging for the ultra rare Color Blast and Lava Flow inserts. You can also search for rookie autos, including those of the likes of Wander Franco, O'Neal Cruz, Fidel Brujan, Reed Detmer, Shane Baz, and many, many more.
Yep, if you remember that, we did the hobby version on Friday, of course, like we just announced the giveaway winner. But obviously some cool exclusive to that product parallels that you can find. I laughed in the chat when we were talking about Space Jam. We all know the real chase is Speedy Gonzalez auto. Hobo Fuzz says. PJ says a Bugs Bunny auto greater than a LeBron auto. I can't really argue with these points. I know I'm looking for a Speedy Gonzalez auto.
I mean, I'm a LeBron guy. So.
Just saying. All right, well, let's get into what is going on around the hobby. So let's change that lower third. Pew. An American flag signed by Tom Brady, you know, that single guy, has recently made headlines as one man is suing the Patriots for damage that was caused by the team. So as you can see here on the screen, after displaying the flag at their team museum, the owner re-received the flag only to discover that the auto in blue Sharpie had faded significantly, lowering the flag's value by almost $1 million. I'm assuming that's what he's saying.
Yes.
The flag was owned and purchased by Daniel Vitale, who said he is a diehard Pats fan and bought the flag as an investment because it was right after 9/11 and the last regular season game at Foxborough Stadium. Wow. Vitale lended the flag to the Patriots Hall of Fame in June of 2021 and was assured the organization would take care of his flag and eventually give it back to him a couple months later. Now, according to the lawsuit, there was, quote, a significant gap in the glass directly in front of the flag through which unfiltered light and heat could pass, which eventually aided in the autograph fading. Vitale added the last thing he wanted to do was sue, but, quote, I've tried to do everything I can to settle with these guys, but they don't even want to talk to us. This sounds kind of a similar situation that a recent guest had. Very interesting there. As you can see, I mean, it was definitely faded.
Yeah,
there's no doubt in my mind that was faded, but once again, that's a lot of legal jargon. It's a lot of he said, she said until we actually see. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding there. Mm-hmm. He was very smart to take a picture beforehand.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Patriots organization being unreasonable? No, never.
No, I would never do that. That is a huge difference too, right? Like it's like who said Kitty Licklick said his wife washed it. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. There's been a couple times where when I lived at home and I was like young. My mom like washed some stuff or something like broke and she wouldn't tell me. And then I'd be like, hey, where's that mug? Or where's that shirt that I wanted to wear? And then she'd have to come clean. So I don't know. Maybe his wife does have to come clean before he sues the Patriots.
You just exposing your mom on the show right now?
She's watching. She knows. She'll laugh. We'll have a good laugh about it. Right?
In other news, our guy Brian Gray and Leaf recently released a preview of their Art of Hockey product. It highlighted the one-of-one artist opus collection that features jumbo memorabilia patches of some NHL greats such as Mario Lemieux, Mike Modano, Paul Kariya, Matt Sundin, Phil Housley, Marian Hossa, Teemu Solani, Joe Sakic, and many more. Are you all good over there?
No, I'm laughing. Go ahead. Sorry.
As you can see on the screen, the patches are ginormous. If you could own a patch of Mem from any NHL star, who would it be?
Oh, honestly, yes. Number one, hold on. Yes, your question, I would say Jaromir Jagr.
I
Right
like
off the
that
top of the
answer.
head. I don't know. Jagr was one of my favorite players. I don't know, just growing up. Maybe it was the hair, but also just a very good player, fun to watch. So if I could have hockey, it would probably be him or Teemu, which I
Yeah.
saw Teemu's in that set.
Yeah.
I believe. But those patches are unbelievable.
Yeah,
and so
they're-
the names in there are just incredible.
Yeah, they're pretty.
I don't know if you took a closer look, but when I went on Instagram and I zoomed in, the one-of-one for the Tampa Bay Lightning was the Bulin wall. It was Nikolai Hobby-Bulin.
Wait, can we pull that picture up again? Maybe?
It's like right at the stop. Or if you start, yeah, so pause this. That Tampa Bay one is Nikolai Hobby-Bulin.
Oh, where?
Look for the Lightning Bowl.
Hobby Bull.
It's like look for the Lightning Bowl, you know?
Nikolai Hobby Bull.
But obviously we paused it right there so you can see like Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket there. I love the Joe Sakic, the foot from the Avalanche, like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool patches there. Love that Jocelyn Tybalt is there for the Red or the Blackhawks.
Dylan Larkin's on there, too.
Dylan Larkin, yeah, the USA,
new
that
guy.
was cool.
So-
But I just laughed in the thing because my mom wrote back and she put nice. And T4 Con4 Tour said, expect a phone call after the show. I'm surprised I haven't gotten a text right now, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought it right now I'd have one from my mom. Yeah, she's probably not happy that I called her out, but I'm sure I'll hear from her.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there'll be more developments. Don't worry, I'll let you know what happens.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for more.
This is a developing story.
Developing
we'll have
story.
more on it.
We'll have more on it as information becomes available.
More for.
Yeah, we'll see how mad my mother is at me. So, up next from Beckett, they announced the Beckett Collectors Special. For a limited time, collectors can get 20 cards minimum graded for $18 or 40 cards minimum, for $16 with a 45 to 90 day turnaround. This deal is only available for modern cards produced from 1981 to the present day. No membership is required, and there is no upcharges. On top of that, Beckett announced there is a new premium service of $200 a card with subgrades and $150 a card with no subgrades with a 2 to 7 day turnaround. If that wasn't enough, they announced an express service for $100 per card with subgrades and $75 per card without subgrades with a 10 to 15 day turnaround time. Seems like this comes on the heels of PSA changing their bulk service grading. Just saying. So it's interesting. They're taking notes from each other, or
They're going back and forth. They're
one guy. Yeah,
playing a little hardball.
I get clock radio, he get clock radio. I get step, he gets step.
I get
So it's
iPod. He cannot afford. Great success.
So it's just to see who's gonna crack first, I guess.
We incorporate Borat in every episode.
At least
I
once.
swear to God.
At least once an episode, once a week.
Oh, and here's the big news. I don't know if you heard about this one, Troy, but
No, I don't think I did. Could you please tell me? I didn't hear about it 3 times.
just an update from Golden. You know that PSA 1.5 T206 Onus Wagner that Troy and Elena bid on the show last Friday.
I remember that.
Well, it finally sold, and final price was $3.72 million. Guess who won it?
Who ended up winning it?
You guessed it.
No way.
Us. Dave and Adams
Did we
Card
really?
World. Dave and Adams Card World. Shout out to the buying team.
Holy. Do we have that video of Ken Dorsey again that represented the accounting department? Because they might actually be throwing a Ken Dorsey fit now. That's amazing, though. How about that? I don't know what that was. That sounded like devil. That sounded like the devil. Anyways, keep an eye. I can't with you guys. Keep an eye out on the David Adams social media, because I can tell you right now, as this card makes its way here, we are for sure going to have some content surrounding it. So make sure you are following DA Card World across all of our platforms. And I'm sure we'll have some content on YouTube, on the Instagram. So we'll figure out the details, figure out how the card's getting here, when it's going to get here. We'll have some history surrounding it. And can't wait for it to actually be in our possession. I won't touch it. I don't want that on my hands.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'll look at it. You can look, but you better not touch.
Because the best things in life ain't cheap.
Correct.
Poison. It's a Poison lyric. So next up, the MLB playoffs, full swing. Get it? And we just finished an exciting weekend of the Wild Card Series. It was wild, to say the least. If you didn't know, the Mariners came back from an 8-1 deficit in Game 2 to defeat and sweep the Blue Jays. The Guardians took 15 innings and about 12 years off David's life to sweep the Rays. The Phillies ended the historic careers of Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, and the Padres made light work of the 100-plus win Mets. Yes. So now that you're all caught up, let's check out who some of the standouts from the Wild Card Series were. I'll start with you, since you were actually physically at a game.
So I had 3 players. One of them, I'll get out of the way, Tristan Mckenzie for Cleveland. Young pitcher.
He pitched game 1?
2.
Oh, he did pitch.
He pitched the game I was at, and he was dominant. He started a little slow, 6 innings pitched, 8 Ks, no runs, obviously. Game went 15 innings without freaking runs scored. But he was immaculate. He was great. And if you go on eBay, you can get his Bowmans pretty cheap, honestly.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one to look at. Another one I really like ever since he went to this team at the trade deadline, Luis Castillo of the Reds.
Yeah.
Of the Mariners. Good Lord. He went from the Reds to the Mariners. 7 1/3 in Game 1, 5 strikeouts, no runs allowed. He's another guy. Pitchers don't really get a lot of love on the card market.
I can tell.
But
because I'm looking up Tristan Mckenzie, like I just typed in Tristan Mckenzie graded on eBay's price guide. And technically it's down right now.
Yeah.
But that's not to say he still didn't have a stellar performance. And as they make a longer run, I don't know, who knows, but.
And really, he's only in like his 2nd full year, so it's a guy.
He's been a prospect for a while, though, right? He's been, on the Bowman radar.
Yeah,
because I feel like I've seen his cards for
and I feel like
years now.
His career, the way just Cleveland produces pitchers, he could end up being like that next Shane Bieber type that wins a Cy Young or something like that. But I'm not being biased. I'm actually being real when I say all that. I'm just
real.
But another guy, Bryce Harper, who we gave away the Tiger Stripe card to.
We did.
He went 2-7. 2-7 in the series, not great, but he did hit a huge home run for the Phillies to extend them. But Bryce Harper, if you got a Bryce Harper card laying around, you're probably sitting pretty right now.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Which is funny, too, because I feel like the Phillies were another one of those teams in the East that just couldn't get their crap together.
Yeah.
For most of the year. So the fact that they were even in the wild card, I thought was pretty impressive in my opinion.
If it wasn't for a late streak, they weren't going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
If they didn't go on a streak and Milwaukee didn't crap the bed, then they weren't going to make the playoffs. But hey, they're moving on. They got the Braves next. That's going to be a good series.
Yep. So speaking of that, I think that's another person to watch out for. Is a little Ronald Acuna Jr.
There you go.
Ronald Acuna, I feel like, has value, but it just doesn't seem like a lot of people talk about his card value. And maybe that's because we ourselves here are not necessarily in a huge baseball market. But I think when you get outside of that, Ronald Acuna probably, I would say, starting to get up there with the Harpers and the Trouts and the Otanis and the Vlad Guerrero Juniors. Very collectible. People want his cards for sure. So not necessarily in the wild card weekend, but, someone that I think.
Looking forward, yeah.
Looking forward, for sure. I mean, remember, in the Braves playoff run, eventually World Series champions last year, he had that ACL injury,
Yeah,
so
he
he was
wasn't even
nowhere to
there.
be found. So this is a big opportunity for him, I think, in hobby ways and in just playing.
I know. Add that bat to a world championship lineup. That's only going to help their case to make it back to back. So.
Yep. Julio Rodriguez too. I mean, he's another one.
He's just building up his
explosive.
resume even more.
Yeah, I mean, he's just making a stronger and stronger case.
And he didn't do anything crazy in the wild card series, but I mean, the more he wins, the more his value is going to go up. So.
Right, exactly. It's going to continue, and I'm just trying to think of all the. Thank you for
Very
the
good.
stonks climbing noise. I'm trying to think of like any of the other guys that were in the wild card series.
Like offensively, if you look like in the Rays Guardian series, offensively there was 4 runs scored the entire series.
Yeah.
So you can't really look at anything offensively. I mean, you had Franco in the series, but Franco had like 1 hit in
Right.
the entire series.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez, I mean, he hit the home run in game 1, but other than that, there was nothing crazy. The Blue Jays just choked away again. And then
Yeah, poor Jays.
yeah, and then the Padres, honestly, it's gonna be. I mean, Juan
Juan
Soto had a big hit yesterday.
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, you know what his stock is.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. That's who I wanted to say. I was going to say Juan Soto for sure.
But yeah, so Padres got the Dodgers now. That's gonna be
It's powerhouses
Them
right
two
there. That's
teams
NL.
go-
That's NL
they butt
powerhouses
heads,
right there.
so.
So definitely looking forward to the next round, and we'll talk more on cards in that as we get deeper into the playoffs.
for sure. Now let's go from the diamond to the gridiron. Even though there was a lot of baseball over the weekend, we also had a full slate of Sunday games. We got to see the first NFL start of Kenny Pickett. Steelers did great. In addition to some other great performances, we also will check out some of the top performers from Week 5. So,
Yeah.
Troy, you want to hit us with one of your players?
Yeah, So it's not so much a player. I kind of want to just talk about things in a broad sense on my side. I mean, I'm sure you have your players written down, but for me, I was thinking about yesterday where I made that claim that it's going to be the year of the wide receiver, right? Because early on it did seem that way. And honestly, it seems like Justin Jefferson is back on track. The last 2 weeks, he's had incredible weeks after, I think, week 2 and week 3, kind of just weaker stat-wise for him, unlike him.
Right.
But week 1 and now 4 and 5. And I can't believe that the Vikings, are 4-1.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem right. Right? It just doesn't seem right.
yeah.
So for me, I guess what I was gonna say is Chris Olave got hurt. Joe Burrow just, I mean, his offensive line is not good, right?
Oh, 100%.
He's not good, but I think he needs to work on getting the ball out quicker in that as well. But I feel like it's slighting these guys because we talked about year of the wide receiver. Their cards prices are probably going to go up. Their value is going to go up. People are gonna want the wide receivers. But unfortunately, Jamar Chase has been pretty quiet. But I feel like that's directly because of the way Burrow is playing. It's not necessarily a Jamar Chase thing. Also in Miami, we talked a lot about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but now they're on to their third string quarterback.
Tyreek was apparently in a walking boot too.
Yeah, so are those values going to start to come down a little bit and come back down to reality? Not saying that people were necessarily chasing after him, but the 2020 class, though, I feel like is, and like Herbert's off to a slow start too.
He is.
I feel like,
and I mean, like they beat the Browns yesterday, but they did it really with their run game. So.
But the class to me that is still the most valuable, and it's the prices on product, I feel like, and on just the singles, whether it's slabbed, autos, raw cards. Let's give it up. My MVPs is the class of 2018. That 2018 class is unbelievable. Because think about it now. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's playing well in terms of, I'm thinking of 3 guys. Saquon is unbelievable. He's back. I think Saquon's
Confirmed.
fully back. He's healthy. I know yesterday he left the game with a little bit of a shoulder injury, but came back.
Yep.
Scored another tutty, though. Lamar doing Lamar things, and of course Josh Allen pretty much having a career day out there yesterday. Those three guys. But is it time to say that Baker is bad? I know you love Baker, but is it time? He's bad.
Yeah, Stevens. Sorry.
He's bad.
I completely agree with Brett.
Yeah, he's struggling.
First time chatter, Des Newts. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate that.
Des Newts, 21.
It's been T4 Con 4 Torres says it's been time on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I would
gotta
say
eat my words.
I would say that 2018 class in terms of the hobby.
I mean, especially with Allen and Jackson. I mean, it's impressive.
That's what I'm saying, and I think it just helped with Saquon, and obviously the 2017 class too with Patrick Mahomes and Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is real.
Cooper Rush
Guy wins games.
Cooper Rush wasn't even drafted.
So
undrafted, out of Central Michigan.
His cards are still in
Chippewas.
2017 products. I'm telling you right now, and his cards are still going up. So everybody who says, "Oh, you talk too much about Cooper Rush," well, guess what? His cards are worth something right now.
He's 5-0.
Okay?
5-0 in starts.
Guy's 5-0. When are we gonna take him seriously? Okay. Those are my MVPs of the week. I would say is the 2018 class.
So I am going to say I'm all in. So I'm looking more like rookies from this year. I am all in on Pickens and Khalil Shakir for this wide receiver class.
Pickens for sure.
Pickens' value is only going to go up because of Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was looking his way all day. And honestly, I thought the Steelers' offense didn't look all that bad. They just couldn't put points on the board.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely had some drives.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
Pickens didn't look terrible.
Yeah,
or Pickett, excuse me.
I'm still on the Pickens hype train, and I think his value is only going to go up. And I think Pickett to Pickens is going to be a combination that Pittsburgh is really excited for and looks forward to every game. Also, Khalil Shakir with his first NFL touchdown yesterday.
Yep.
I can't wait to see where he goes, especially if Isaiah McKenzie is out a lengthy amount of time.
Yeah.
I think Shakir has a real chance to take over. And this is a guy that was kind of overlooked card-wise because you can get, like me personally, for my personal collection, I actually have 2 Khalil Shakir Bowmans that I got for like $20 each.
Nice.
So to the moon. To the moon. And then lastly, my last guy, Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall went off.
Yeah,
for the
he looked
Jets.
awesome.
Running backs don't get a lot of love in the card market, but 18 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown, and then 2 receptions for 100 yards. I was confused when they drafted him because they got Michael Carter, but this is looking like it's going to be a good payoff.
Yeah.
Good payoff for the Jets. So Bryce Hall, definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I feel like Bryce Hall is definitely a guy that they can use when they're in their own territory or like midfield, and it seems like Carter's more the guy you punch it in with him, or he's on the goal line, or he's in the red zone. But Bryce Hall, obviously, that explosive play he had to the one yesterday to set up the Michael Carter touchdown. Also, since you said that, 2021 quarterbacks,
Trevor Lawrence.
It's
losing to the Texans.
To me, it's Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson's good. He's athletic. He's good. They're finally starting to build a team around him. So Zach Wilson cards, I think, are on the up and up. Guys like Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields is going down.
I mean, like real quick, you just look at it. Like Trevor Lawrence, he's had a terrible last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Mac Jones injured. Trey Lance injured.
Yep.
Davis Mills has done nothing. I'm sorry. I know
Steve thinks he's a good
big
quarterback.
Davis Mills guy. He has done nothing this year. Then you look at Zach Wilson.
Yeah, so I think
he's come
Zach
back the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's not putting up earth-shattering numbers, but he's still making it where his value is going to go up.
Yep. And you know what? We did a little too in depth there, but we'll talk more in depth after the show. Yep. We'll be on Instagram Live, the Chase Unplugged. Make sure you join us there. We'll talk more football, baby. We'll talk about some more values of and the who's who in the NFL. But now we are going to get to our live guest of the morning. You guys are going to love this one. I did. We got our guy from across the pond. He's not in the UK. He's up north.
Or up north, across the border. I messed up the script. My bad.
I'm just messing with you. Who cares? The man who likes to keep it real about the hobby. The man will tell it as it is. And the man, this is true, with an absolutely impeccable mustache. It is our friend, Coach Co. The collector who is also a personal trainer, takes every day with a kind of everything mentality and gave us his perspective of the hobby, and we're happy to have him on for you guys. So without further ado, please, let's send it to Coach Co. Okay, we have another great interview lined up for you here. As you can see, he is joining us live right now from the greater Toronto area, ladies and gentlemen. Midtown, as he said before we started recording. Here he is. It is Coach Co. Coach Co. Collectibles. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Everything's great on my end. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, fantastic. See, very polite. I can tell that you are Canadian.
True Canadian.
True Canadian right
From the
there.
six.
From the six. Very polite, man. We're doing wonderful. You and I have been going back and forth for a couple of weeks, so I'm just glad we finally found some time to get you on here to talk about what you got going on in the sports card world.
You and me both. And if you don't mind me asking, what gave it away? What gave away the Canadian?
You know,
Was it the fact that I asked you guys how you were doing?
I think it was. You know, honestly, you asking us, and that's not to say that our other guests aren't polite and nice, but you know, it's not always I'm doing good. How are you? It's just, you know, how are you doing, or, you know, how they're doing, and you kind of move on. So it's the politeness. And then, of course, I tried to do some research on your TikTok. I saw that you're a fan of not only soccer, but also hockey cards. And so that kind of tipped me off a little bit as well. But
Nice.
this kind of just solidified it for me.
Okay.
So I want to get into it with you here. I'm going to ask the first question. We'll kind of go back and forth. That's our style here. But tell us a little bit about yourself. I want to know how did the Coach Co. come to be? Like, how did you get that name, and, you know, how did the collectibles page come about?
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool story. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a personal trainer by trade. I've been a personal trainer for almost 10 years now. And before I left my last in-person job prior to COVID, I was a manager there, and it seemed like things were kind of splitting at the seams a lot of the times. We had like staffing issues, and you know, people talk about like slow quitting. That was like it's a thing now, but it was 100% a thing then too. And so we had like 2 or 3 people that were like slow quitting. And as a result of this, I was working probably like 14 to 16-hour days, and seemingly taking on more and more every day. And so, you know, I had this group of employees that really I could lean on and, you know, kind of vent to, and they were really my go-to when it came to just discussing like what we needed to get done either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And there were a few times where I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, you know, like I don't know how I'm gonna hack this shit out. Like we gotta find, I don't know, like a new trainer. We gotta find homes for these 6 clients, like whatever the case may be. And they were like you can do this, like give them that like king of everything like mentality. And I was like, what the hell, like what are you talking about? They're like, you know, like sometimes you bring it in ways that we can't even really fathom, like how you're doing what you're doing. I mean, before we had this conversation today, you and I, you just finished asking me like, when do you sleep? And it's I mean, I've always kind of been like this, where if something needs to get done, it's going to get done, because I made a commitment to myself and to others. And so I got laid off when COVID happened, and I took that as an opportunity to just kind of lean on myself. And you know, there was a lot of times where I didn't know how I was going to get shit done, or where the energy was come from, or how I was going to learn how to make TikTok videos, or how I was going to learn how to edit things, because I really didn't have a ton of experience in terms of like electronics and the internet in general. And I kind of leaned on this notion of like having that like king of everything mentality. Now, that's not to say that, I think that I'm above anybody, but I just think that if you bring a certain energy where like anything is possible, I mean, sure enough, like you can get shit done, and you can get a lot more than you thought you could get done. And so that's where Coach Go comes from. And I try to embody that, I mean, on a daily basis, especially when shit gets hard. But yeah, that's so. And how that relates to sports cards. For those of you who don't know, I have a decent sized TikTok account that I really didn't expect to ever be as big as it is. And that all started because, like I said, I got laid off, and then just decided to really fill my life with things that I truly wanted, and that brought me joy. And some of my fondest memories as a kid and as a young adult, before like work and all responsibilities got in the way, was collecting, and collecting of all kinds. Like I got a pretty diverse jersey collection from when I was a kid, and I spent most of my money as a teenager on like jerseys and cards, and specifically stickers. And so now, when I had all the time in the world, I was like, guess what's happening? Like, I'm gonna figure out like how far we've come in this industry. And there was a lot of hype going into it. For myself, it was the Vegas Dave sale of the Trout that really kind of brought my attention to the monetary aspect of collecting. But ultimately, it came down to like just having little memories almost, and like pieces of history of guys I idolized growing up, or that really kind of helped define certain moments in my life, to be honest.
Yeah, and so something that I kind of want to ask you from what you were just saying there, obviously coaching in personal fitness, personal trainer, but this seems to be a passion project for you, these cards and that. Is there any parallels though? Because I know you make some educational content, and you're obviously teaching people how to properly train. So do you see any parallels of your teachings on the personal training side and when you're making content about collecting?
That's a great question. There's a lot of similarities, and there are similarities because I think in the collecting space, much like in the workout space, everyone wants to get to where they want to be as quickly as humanly possible. And it's just an unnatural progression, right? Like, I think that when you start chasing like the best way to do this, or the best way to 10x your investment in a sports card, like those are the ones that end up tanking. And you follow, like if you're the follower of trends, I find that oftentimes you're at the butt end of them, if that makes sense. So when it comes to fitness, for instance, I mean, if the entire fitness industry is talking about doing a ketogenic diet, I mean, rather than going that route, I would be the person that suggests finding like a balance that works for your lifestyle. And like, don't be scared of carbohydrates, but like learn which carbohydrates work for you, and which ones make you feel bloated and which ones don't. And conversely, when it comes to collecting, I would say, just because everyone's super high on this young, let's say, quarterback, you don't also have to collect this guy just because everyone else is doing so. I would actually rather you put in your own work and see who you like playing or played already, and find areas of opportunity that way. So same but different. I think that longevity is everything, and so like you don't want to burn out, whether that's in collecting or in fitness. And I find that there's a few people that have kind of burnt out when it comes to collecting, because they're always like going after the hot stuff, and like the hot stuff eventually cools down. And you just got to collect what you actually like and what players. It doesn't matter what anyone else gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And now you said it was like you had to learn TikTok. You had to learn some
Yeah.
of the social media aspects.
Yeah.
Explain that transition of taking, your hobby of collecting and putting it forth to building your platforms. How was that transition?
Well, I mean, it was terrifying. Like, so because all of my work was in person previously and like in a service industry where it was like just one-on-one. I mean, I had rarely used social media for anything other than, flexing when going to a concert or like a sporting event, right? Like it was never anything of substance. And much less being vulnerable. And when I first started, one of the things that kind of held me back was, I was scared of getting hateful comments or people that opposed what I was thinking, or I just really just didn't want to get into it with people who are, I mean, basically out there just trying to refute everything you say. So getting over that was a huge hurdle. And once I did, I realized that there is a real lack of a real lack of real out there. But specifically in sports cards, to be honest, because I think a lot of people cater their content to, again, what I said in terms of like being with the trends. I think a lot of content is geared towards, and there's nothing wrong with this kind of content because I still talk about it as well, but like, big hits or the all-time highs or, but like there's not a ton of people that are going to be talking about, some of the ways the hobby, or even, I mean, just having basic dialogue about, well, why is this card more expensive than this one? It's not just about like, well, because it's Prism. You're like, okay, I understand that, but why? Do you know what I mean? Like trends are constantly changing. I mean, at one point, the Bowman's Best Kobe was, probably his most expensive rookie card, and now all of a sudden, everyone caters towards the Topps Chrome, and now we're getting into PMGs, right? So like things are constantly evolving, tastes change. Let's have that dialogue. And so I think there is a lack of people who want to have like constructive conversations, whether they're uncomfortable or not. And that's what I do.
And now, so obviously you've gotten a little more used to the TikTok realm, just
Yeah,
a little.
yeah.
And I noticed, you do a bunch of segments. Is there one you look forward to doing the most?
That's a good question. Let's see here. I enjoy hearing stories about people pulling, like the Walmart blasters and the fat pack stories. They kind of resonate well with me, and I'm sure they resonate well with a lot of people because they tend to do pretty well in terms of like reach. But just there's something to be said about like someone walking into a Walmart or a Target and spending like $15 a blaster and then potentially getting like life-changing money as a result of that. I mean, obviously that kind of like pulls into the gambling aspect of it, but I think just the amount of joy that person must experience is something that I try to really think about, and I just can't imagine what that feeling must be like. And so whenever I hear something like that, I try to put that to the forefront.
Yeah. I think that's great. Cause that's the thing is as much as it is about the influencers, it's also about the people that are actually like, I guess, in the trenches, for lack of
Yeah.
a better term, that are actually buying it and actually
Yeah.
opening up stuff and just trying to get it, not buying spots and breaks or not selling
Exactly.
breaks. It's, there's still an actual collecting element to it. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I must say too that, just you talking about how I can appreciate that you're trying to have those possible uncomfortable or tough conversations in the hobby, because you're right. I think sometimes there's too much sugarcoating. So I'm glad that someone actually is trying to actually have those conversations about these things, and that, we need that. We need the different side of things there.
Yeah, and I mean, ironically enough, I mean, a lot of that came out of the fact that like I had to jump back into the hobby in like 2020 and 2019, right? So like a lot of the questions I was asking were out of genuine curiosity, like what is it about this card that makes it so much more desirable than this one? And like where do these rules come from? Who developed these rules? And have they ever changed in the past? And just because that's how they are right now, is this how it's going to be forever? I mean, really interesting conversation pieces. And the more I dug into like answering my own questions, I was like, wow, like there are rules, but those rules change quite frequently. So let's talk about how they can change, and let's have some fun here. Ultimately, it's about having fun. And, obviously if you turn a profit, that's great, but you should love the cards that you own, because at the end of the day, like the root of all of this is straight up collecting.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of in that same breath though, at least in talking about, turning a profit or, just, getting back into it in 2020, but also trying to actually have fun with the collecting. Why do you think, though, in your own words, that these sports cards and sports memorabilia or just memorabilia, the news of all this stuff, why do you think it's gained such mainstream attention as of late?
So I think that with the emergence of social media at the peak of where it's at right now, I mean, I don't think the hobby has ever experienced something like this. I mean, life hasn't really experienced something like this. Like the ability for something to go viral. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember maybe a year ago, there was like the milk crate challenge. Like something like that would never really be a thing like 10 years ago, for instance. And then you added to the fact that during the course of the pandemic, much like what I said, is a lot of people went back to like nostalgia. They went back to things that made them happy as a kid. I mean, there was a lot of my friends that went back to like collecting Pokemon cards or old video games that they were seeking out and playing. That kind of reminded them of a simpler time. And at the end of the day, a lot of people either lost their jobs or realized that there's more value in working for yourself than there is in working for an employer, for instance. And so, a hobby that also has the ability to turn a profit suddenly becomes very enticing. And especially because, fantasy sports is such a big thing. You draft your team. If this is like one step further to a certain extent, you're buying players who you think are going to do it well throughout the course of the year. So I think the combination of big sales, like I said, the Vegas Dave one was one for me. The overall time that people had, and then the fact that it was honestly a pretty easy entry point for people to make money and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I like what you said about going back to nostalgia during the COVID time, because I literally feel like my nostalgia was going back and playing like PlayStation 2 throwbacks every single night.
Yeah.
Like
See
that.
what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
That was just me.
For sure.
So next up, like you had a post about cards getting graded as authentic or the numeric grade. I want to know where do you currently stand on that?
I'm all for numeric grades, to be honest. Like I actively talk about like owning like PSA 1s, 2s, 3s, like I mean, and not just PSA, like SGC, BGS. Now, like the cards that I own in those grades are usually either vintage or like modern cards. But that's mainly because like ultra modern, when you start seeing sixes and authentics, are usually like 5-6 figure cards, and I just don't have any cards like that in my collection. But it would still be the same. Like I like appreciating the card for what it is. I also like knowing what the grade is. Even if the market doesn't like the fact that it's a 6 or a 5 or a 3, like, I mean, it's indifferent to me. And if anything, it kind of just adds to the story of it. And especially if we're talking about one of ones, and that's usually the case when it comes to authentic and numeric. It's like, I mean, it's the only one in existence. So, I mean, throw a grade on it. Who cares?
I agree. I think some people, it's funny, you kind of risk it all to get this card in the first place, but people seem to pump the brakes when it comes to the numeric grade. They're like,
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It's like 6. Like, oh, now it's like less valuable. I'm like, but there's only one of them.
Right, exactly. It's still, that's it. That's all you're gonna get. So take it or leave it. Like that is final. That's what it says. So I agree. So we talk about influencers a lot on here. We have influencers on the show, such as yourself, kind of making that content. There's a lot being created in terms of the hobby space now. Is there any ways that you feel like that could be improved going forward, the content that's being created?
Yeah, I mean, there's always improvements, or there's always room for improvements. I think having more people be like truly authentic is huge. And I'm not saying that people are like disingenuous, or is it disingenuous or disingenuine? I have no idea, but one of those two. But just I think people underestimate the fact that other people are like people too, and they feel most connected with you if you express some vulnerability or like what you're thinking and stuff of that nature, versus just like, I think a good chunk of card content is just kind of like showing off massive cards that most of people will never own or even come close to owning, which is great. I mean, not saying not to show off your collections, but I mean, it comes down to, like I said before, dialogue. And honestly, I think that, and I mean, I'm not great at this either, but we need to understand there's also a lot of kids in collecting. And so we need to be more understanding of that. And like, for me, what that means is, I'm not saying you got to be professional, because that kind of goes away from the authenticity, but just acknowledging that like a lot of the stuff that you say might or could have a massive impact on a kid. And for better or for worse, the sports card hobby is built by kids, and it will be continued because of kids. So we just have to make sure that we are treating them right, and being good influences for them.
I love that point that you just bring up, because a lot of people don't realize that sometimes, is that some of these 9, 10, 11-year-old kids that you see at these card shows, they're the future. Like, and like after we're gone, sure, it's their show.
Amen. That's it.
Like once it's their thing, they're the up and coming. But it kind of leads into the next question as well. What's something what's something about the hobby that you might research a little bit more, keep your eye on, and kind of explore more in the future?
That's a good question. I think grading has a long way to go. And I don't know how it gets better. I know that a lot of people talk about AI, and there's a few companies that are, using AI grading or some variation of AI grading, whether that be in the authentication process or the actual grading process. And I'm actively looking to see, what aspects are good and which aspects are bad. Because I mean, with every new thing that comes into the hobby, there will be good and there will be bad. And I'm most curious to see what it's going to look like moving forward, in terms of bringing transparency, in terms of bringing consistency, and to see how it's received by the rest of the card community, right? Because I mean, so much of today's buying and selling game has become like crack resub, crack resub. Like, I think a lot of people are finding that, there's areas of opportunity in playing that game. And so if all of a sudden we eliminate that because there's a grading standard or because there's software, like, what happens now? And so that's the area of the hobby that I'm looking at the most and saying, like, where do we go from here? How does this develop? And what does the market look like in 10 years as a result of these developments?
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask you that. There's a lot of talk about AI grading now, and what's your thoughts about the AI grading? Do you think once it's intact, there's going to be a huge shift of people who, are maybe skeptic about human grading? They're just going to go right to AI, or do you think there's still going to be that mix of people that want the human grader?
Honestly, I think it comes down to whichever influencers are on board. Like, I'm not even, like I wish I was joking here, but I'm 100% serious. Um, and that's why, like, I'd like to continue to see transparency from the people who are working with certain companies and certain grading companies, and because a lot of people are going to follow people with big followings, and uh, if we look back on, let's say, PSA like 5 years ago, I mean, PSA 5 years ago was not what PSA is today. BGS had a much bigger hold over the market share. Now, that's not to say that none of that is justified, because, no disrespect to BGS, but I personally think that they've dropped the ball over the course of the last few years. So having someone else step up, and like, shout out to SGC for also taking a big chunk of that market space. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's because like PSA is where it is because so many people own high value PSA cards, right? I mean, obviously there's credibility and all that jazz too, but it's a matter of like picking one. That being said, I like the idea of consistency. I do like the idea of consistency, because when you can crack something out, like if you can crack out a 6 and then resubmit it and get a 9, 10, I mean, something's not working, right? Like I shouldn't have to worry about which tier I'm sending a card in for, because I think that you're going to grade it differently based on either what I've paid for it or how quickly the turnaround time is, And I've had that conversation with myself, right? Like, which tier do I send this into? Like, do I think that they're going to grade this fairly because it's like a value sub, and I'm sure that there are, but just the fact that I have to think about it, seeing all these instances where someone has cracked the card out and gotten a significantly higher grade is enough for me to say we need some form of consistency. And again, like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that looks like one consistency across, or one standard across every grading company where everyone's got the same software. Is it a new grading company that comes up and just kind of takes the reins and says, like, this is what transparency looks like, this is what consistency looks like, and the market follows? Like, I have no idea, but I know that it's got to be better than where it is, but I don't think it goes to the complete other extreme where there's no humans involved either.
Yeah, I think the point that you made earlier in your answer there is influencers. I mean, literally, it's in the name right there, influence. So I'm sure you're right. These people with these big followings, whoever they may side their allegiance with, their gang of followers may end up going with that. So I think very good point. It's well said. I mean, influence right in the name. And speaking of that, you being a TikTok creator yourself, and I know you have your Instagram page as well. For you, what do you think is the better outlet for this hobby content creation for you and the other creators? Do you think it's better on Instagram, or do you think it's better on TikTok, or maybe a share of both?
I mean, I definitely think that the more places that you put yourself out there, the better likelihood of you getting attention is. And I also think that there's something to be said with trying things that you're not good at and having to learn and adapt as a result of those. I will say that with TikTok's algorithms, I think that there is a higher likelihood of you probably developing a following if you put the time and energy into TikTok. But unless you provide value, I mean, at the end of the day, no one's going to follow you. So, and like that's not to be disrespectful or anything, but like, so just if you're going to make content, just like, number one, try to figure out what it is you want to talk about and what you're passionate about. Because if those two things are in line, then, I mean, you'll probably be successful any place you make content. But if you find yourself maybe stalling, then try to figure out what it is that you're passionate about, what your message is, and then just really hone in on that. and you'll find that it doesn't even really feel like work after a while. So I would say TikTok.
There you go, TikTok.
Now, before we let you go, I got to ask, you being a collector yourself, who should we be investing in? You got any players? Got any teams?
It's tough, man. I mean, I honestly hate giving like investment advice because like I hate moving the needle in any direction. I will say that, and this is entirely biased because this is what this is what I know, and that's actually something I talk about regularly. Like, if you know everything about college football, like you should be going so hard on figuring out who the next draft picks are be, and like researching that kind of stuff, waiting for them to come to the NFL and buying their stuff. I think you should stick to whatever lane that you're in. That being said, the World Cup is coming up, and I'm not even talking about the 2022 World Cup, but I'm talking about the 2026 World Cup. The 2022 World Cup is great, but I think that a lot of markets are pretty set on these players, and you might see a run up on a few, but I mean, you're playing a dangerous game if you're trying to buy something in the next 2 months that's going to increase over the course of the 4-week tournament. I do think that there's a massive area of opportunity for soccer because it is a global sport. I mean, recently there was an article that came out that the Argentinian government had to step in, and essentially there was not enough World Cup stickers. And so they had to have discussions with distributors in order to get more World Cup stickers in Argentina. So, and the reason why I tell that story is because, I mean, we don't realize how big collecting is in places outside of, I mean, USA and Canada. And I think once we start to realize that, I mean, especially when it comes to stickers, they are highly collectible. I mean, pretty much everywhere in the world. The sticker market might become significantly more expensive than it is right now. That being said, like I said, I am biased because I love stickers. I started collecting stickers first when I was a kid. And yeah, I just think that those are the true rookies, and eventually, we'll double back on those.
Yeah, believe it or not, I actually remember that the few World Cups ago, I would probably say here in 2014, I think it was like 2014, but I remember the Panini, the stickers in the book blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's some good foreshadowing there for not this World Cup, but the next.
Yeah. I know a guy who likes stickers too. I'm not going to name names. He might be behind the camera, but
Nice.
So we usually like to do this for all of our guests. Before we let you go, please let everybody know what you got going on and where they can find you and your content.
For sure. What I have going on is I try to provide, I mean, unbiased news. Actually, I lied. I'm not unbiased. I have my own biases, but at least raw news and information about sports cards. You can find me on Instagram or on TikTok at Coach Co Collectibles. You can also find me on Twitter with the same handle. Have a podcast as well, Cardboard Coaches. Hopefully we'll have both of you guys on at some point.
Would love to.
And yeah, that's me.
There you go. Nice and simple. I like it. Straight to the point. Would love to be on the podcast. We're all about collaboration, especially like something like this. So there we go. A nice little chat with the coach. I think we got some lessons here. I think we got a coaching session.
yeah, I would say we got coached.
We got coached. Hopefully we did well. Hopefully we absorbed the knowledge as much as we could. And we take that and we use it going forward.
I think you guys did great, and thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Anytime,
coming
you are
on.
always welcome. So yeah, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon. So for right now,
Very soon.
we'll toss it back to you guys. Hey everybody. Oh, whoa, this thing's coming loose.
Oh no.
It is. This is like the worst time for it to happen. Sit.
Stay.
Sit.
Stay.
All right, it's
Heel
already
cinnamon.
super.
Heel cinnamon.
There you go, brother. Got it again. All right, it's already super late, so let's get into this. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Great interview there from Coach Co. Thank you to him for coming on again. Can't wait to speak to him again in the future, but hope you guys enjoyed that one. Absolute incredible mustache. It's just a one-on-one. All right, so it's our box rip giveaway. Quickly, we were thinking about ways to spice up our pack wars on the show. Meerkat, of course, he is always diabolical, mentioned whoever loses has to do the one chip challenge, and Elena also shared she believes the loser should have to do a jackass-like stunt. We will not share what said stunt may be, but use your imagination. So, chat, let's have some fun. Maybe not for this pack war, but for the future. Give us a stunt or act the loser should have to do. Sound off in the chat right now. I don't know which way your chat is. This way. All right. For the box rip giveaway, we have Pro Debut Baseball. Remember, 3 or 4 autographs in this product featuring MILB legends as well as draftee debuts.
Oh.
Agreed.
Yeet. Snort a pixie stick.
Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt. Thank you, Doc Johnson. Glad you enjoyed the interview. All right, remember, I told you to stay put. I told you to stay put because guess what? We're giving these away for free, man. That's what I always say. Pro Debut. Oh, look, it actually works today. All right, only thing is I'm going to need a kata.
Oh.
Huh.
There it is. Oh, fitting.
How'd that get there? Oh, anyways. Hey, shout out Liquid Death. Sponsor me. Get this man a sword. All right, here we go. From above. So it says 4 autographs with an asterisk, so I'm guessing 4 autographs per box on average. We're looking for De La Cruz, Dominguez. I think there's autos of Julio Rodriguez in here. Meerkat was texting me earlier, he was letting me know who's here. All right, a lot of packs to get through. How many packs exactly?
I think there's...
We've got, 24 packs, so we're each getting
hell.
12. All right, I'm just going to choose today. Is that okay?
Go right ahead.
1, 2, 3,
Hey, TJ
4,
plays.
5,
It's
6,
The Chase
7, 8.
at DA Card World. The Chase at
9,
DACardworld.com.
10,
Email us your shipping information and what else am I missing? Shipping information and
Well, the email, but
And
it's shipping
email.
information to The Chase at DA Card World.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that for you. And for me, could you please go to the overhead? Appreciate it. All right, let's see what we got.
8 cards per pack.
8 cards per pack.
Really hoping I get a Henry Davis auto.
Yeah, you want a Henry? Yeah?
I do. You're welcome,
Is
TJ.
that a Guardians prospect?
No, he's actually a Pirates prospect. He was like the #1 pick in the draft. I don't know if he was #1. He was high up. Though.
Oh, Rushman's in here too, or Rushman. Sorry, Rush. I always say Rush. Rushman's in here. Who's this one? Jose Salas. Ooh, out of 50.
Not bad.
Nice. Good start there. Jose Salas out of 50. Get to ripping. Seems like I was better from the bottom. There we go. All right, here we go. Looks like a base pack here. Rhodes.
Bubba Chandler.
Oh, Marcelo Mayer. Definitely looking for him too. Be nice if we hit a Mayer.
Marcello.
Blaze Jordan's in here as well.
Marcello.
Couple of Red Sox prospects. Stars of the future.
Cello, you got a base.
Chilo. Hold it sideways. Chilo, you got a base. There's Blaze
There's
right
Blaze
there.
right there, yep.
All right. Grohans. I've heard that name before too.
Mm-hmm. Jose Miranda
Miranda's.
with the Twins.
Blaze.
Blaze.
This is just an insert. Jordan Walker for the Peoria Chiefs. Brick
Nice.
by Brick. Oh, there's another person I had in my mind that we're looking for too, and then I lost it. All right. Possibly an auto. Looks like a base. Alcantara. Oh, never mind. There it is. How about the
Alcantara.
first one? Ethan Wilson auto.
Nice.
So how many cards in was that? That
Ethan
was
Wilson.
1, 2, 3. So be careful. It's 3 off the top, and then it's an impossible auto. Ethan Wilson auto to start off there. All right. So now to be safe, here's what we're gonna do. Come on.
Ethan Wilson just coming off his second year of minor league ball.
1, 2, 3. So it would be the 4th card. Alex Ramirez.
Alvarez, that's a good player. Right
Alvarez. Vargas.
there. Ramos.
Oh, there's Tristan Costa or Casas
yeah.
is in here too. David gonna win again. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Guys, are you also voting? What prank should we be pulling on each other? God, that is a horrible noise. Don't use that one. That's for sure. Tyler Black, Volpe, Mead,
Hassel, top prospect in
Solamento.
now the Nationals organization. Oh my goodness.
All right,
Stevens.
all right, cool it. Brick by brick. Is it a brick by brick auto possibly? I don't know. Acuna, Torres, Davis, Robert Hassel.
Hassel, like I said, another top prospect in the Nationals organization. He was in that Soto trade.
Oh, loser dresses like a dolphin. I mean,
Patrick says he's
Patrick's
offended.
Patrick's offended. He doesn't want anybody taking his spotlight, which I can understand.
There seems like
He
there's
doesn't
a-
want it seen
there's
in
a-
a negative light.
Yeah, there's a negative connotation to that.
Ooh. Roberto Campos.
Nice.
Wow, is this out of 50? Yeah, that's a 23 of 50.
Wow.
Roberto Campos. Roberto Campos. 2 autos for me. So I'm assuming, let's hope David's got rival team gear. Oh, rival team gear.
Campos is in the Detroit Tigers organization.
Okay.
Also just finished his second season of minor league ball. Khalil Watson. I love Khalil Watson. What do we got here?
Derek Lee. Oh, it's
my
a
God.
throwback. Nice. Of the Las Vegas Stars. Little throwback Derek Lee. Who remembers Derek Lee?
Love Derek Lee, man.
He was on the
Cubs.
he was
Well,
on the
yeah,
Cubs,
he
but he was
won
on
the
the
World
03
Won a World
Marlins
Series with the
team.
Marlins, yep.
Mm-hmm. And then I think he went to the Cubs immediately after.
Had a little time with the Pirates as well.
Austin Martin in here too.
Samad Taylor. He played for the Bisons. Henry Davis right there.
Merrill. All right. 2 packs left for me. He could mash. He was during the steroid ball era. With all those guys. Remember Travis Hafner? That guy could mash too.
Kronk.
Adam Dunn.
My guy Pronk. I met him. You'd appreciate this. I met Travis Hafner in Toronto, and him and I talked for like 5 minutes about how much we love wrestling.
Really?
Yeah.
Travis Hafner, confirmed
Huge-
wrestling guy?
Huge wrestling guy.
All right, that is a Sal Frelick draftee debut.
Pro
1
debut.
pack less for me. And then David is going to have his packs. He should have 2 autos. Yeah, we got a Campos.
Yeah.
Out of 50, Meerkat. I'll show you right here.
Let me check really quick. Tigers.
All right, that's going to do it for my packs. 2 autos for me, including that Campos out of 50. Let's see what David's got now.
All right. We good? All right, here we go. Slide them over. Paguero. Looks like a base pack. Zach Veen. That's a good one right there. Tyler Whitaker. Kevin Maid. Cartaya. Velasquez. Salas. York. Right. Pack number 2.
Remember chat?
Is that how we're going to decide a winner? They're going to pick the prank?
Yeah, pick the prank.
So
Pick
you guys,
the prank
yeah.
for the losers. Or what prank would you like to see us do? Or stunt, huh? Stunt, anything like that.
Stunts are performed by professionals.
Football
Please
to
do
the
not try at
bunt,
home.
Dolphin style. Ooh. That might hurt. Cinnamon challenge? Oh, cinnamon.
Oh, God. I yacked doing that
Oh.
once. I literally yacked doing that once. Cal Conley.
Am I winning so far then, Meerkat?
Oh, here we go. Bo Jackson.
Bo knows. Auburn.
Bo Jackson throwback. Scotto.
Troy through a
Nelson,
table. Would do it.
Daryl.
Oh, chug a gallon of milk. Oh,
Oh God, you guys really want to see us just fail?
Ooh, old wax pack gum or old wax pack war. Loser has to eat the gum.
I'd be done. I'd be down. Still say walk around Buffalo telling people they prefer ranch on their wings. That might get you killed here.
That'd be something.
All right. Ian Lewis, Garrett Mitchell, Jalen Palmer. Oh, there we go. Alejandro P.A.
Don't
Rays.
call my name. Don't call my name.
Alejandro P.A. on the auto. So that's what, our third auto? You got 2, right?
I got 2.
Yeah, so that non-numbered. So Alejandro P.A.
I'll sleeve it up.
All right,
You
here.
want to reach over here? Thank you.
No problem.
Got it.
Trimble. Joe Mack. Joe Mack.
Western New York native.
Local boy. And C.J. Rodriguez.
Local boy, Joe Mack. Mack on the attack.
Wear a Patriots jersey around a Bills tailgate.
Oh,
No.
you guys trying to? You guys want us to get beat up? Zyrex says 999 challenge. 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings to do it. I've never heard of that.
Wow. I'd be down.
I'd be in.
Michael McGreevy. Josh Young. Maddox Bruns. Wes Kath. Brick by Brick. Henry Davis. Christian Santana. Steven Machado. And Yoequi Cespedes. I wonder if that Cespedes is any relation to Yoenis Cespedes. Always wondered that. I've
Love
seen
that.
the dude's name thrown around here and there. Colson Montgomery here. Ooh, what is that one? All right. Jay Allen. Serta. J.C. Correa, excuse me. Elijah Tatis. Interesting. Colson Montgomery again. Hunter Goodman. Pedro Pineda and Jay Allen. Jay Allen on the pink out of 199. Jay Allen pink out of 199. Pro debuts.
How about it? You're right. I agree with Zyrex. You know what? If we're going to have a good time, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, and I think that's when we do it.
Vernable. Kevin Millar. Portland Sea Dogs.
Oh, yeah. I love Kevin Millar.
Luis
That was my guy back in the
Gonzalez.
day.
Alberto Rodriguez. Heriberto Hernandez and Darren Baker.
Ooh, ooh. I'm going to finish this liquid death.
Going down strong.
Oh, that's good. Hey, guys, make sure after the show, if you want to come hang out with us on Instagram, we'll be on DA_the Chase. We'll be live, and we'll be talking about stuff more in depth. You know, we could talk more cards. We could talk more hobby.
Martinez.
Whatever you guys want to do.
There we go. There's our next
Hello.
auto. Ian Lewis of the Marlins. Ian Lewis. I've heard this name thrown around. I'm not sure how high up he is on their prospect ratings, but nevertheless, Ian Lewis. There you see it. I'm going to toss it over to Troy.
Yep, I'll get that sleeved up, and you finish up over there.
Isaac Pacheco finishes it off. What do we got? We got
Dunk tank for charity. I actually like that.
5 packs left. I better start.
Rewatch. Rob says rewatch the Thursday night Colts and Broncos game. Yeah, that would be a punishment.
That's a punishment. That's painful.
That is a punishment. That's actually a punishment.
All right.
Nice. Campos on a
Ibarra,
50.
Mayo, Bowman, Jordan Walker, Brick by Bick, Noelvi Marte, Colton Cowser, Edgar Cuero, J.J. Blade.
Ian Lewis and Campos, same box. Sounds like we got a nice box here.
Ian Lewis. I knew I had heard the name. I just, off the top of my head, I couldn't remember. When I think of the Marlins, I think of Cleo Watson. But Ian Lewis, nevertheless. All right, Eric Pena. Oh, my man, Gabriel Arias, Xavier Edwards, Gabriel Rodriguez, Luis Rodriguez, Eguy Rosario, Ryan Bliss, and Lonnie White.
Bill Dozer says, loser buys Alina her second graded football card, a hot QB of
Oh,
her
good Lord.
choice.
I actually kind of like that idea.
Drive to NYC, wear an Isles jersey to a Rangers game or vice versa. You guys are creative. I like this.
George Valera, my guy. Eddie Leonard, Marco Luciano, Colson Montgomery drafty debut. That was a Canario. Grayson Rodriguez, I think the number 2 prospect in the Orioles. Ellie De La Cruz, a huge prospect for the Reds. And Nolan Jones, my guy.
There we go. PSA Cooper Rush. I'm with that. Loser has to explain the Star Wars VIP Super Break to us. We joke, but it's confusing the first time you hear it. We'll have more details on that soon too, PJ. I think we're gonna do a nice little video for it on that.
Corbin Carroll, that's a good one. Alejandro P.A., we actually had his auto. Riley Green now up with the Tigers. Chin Jong Liu, Brett Beatty, Aaron Zavala, Andy Rodriguez, and Jake Fox.
Des Newts goes, was that a Lou Rodriguez card? I'm gonna walk across the street and have him sign it.
Last pack Magic. Even though we already got our autos and all that fun stuff. Jonathan Clase, Alexander Mojica, Tyler McDonough, Frederico Polanco, Jackie Robinson.
Nice.
That one's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Ian Moeller, Noelvi Marte, and Carter Jensen. That wraps up
there
my
it
packs.
is.
We are way over.
Yeah, we're way over. So guess what, guys? That's it. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you liked the first of all, I hope you liked the interview, but second of all, hope you enjoyed this break. There you go, the Campos out of 50, the big one there. I don't know if I'm taking home this W or David is, but there it is. Make sure you come back and watch us on Wednesday. We'll have more hobby news, more box rip giveaways, all the stuff you guys want, more interviews. We have a live one on Monday. Suze. If you're not familiar with Sue, she used to work for Topps, now working for CSG. Looking forward to chatting with her. Remember, put a prank that you want to see us do in the chat or on the YouTube replay. Make sure you're following us on DA Card World across all of our platforms. Also follow us on DA_the Chase on all the platforms. Stay tuned. Jersey John will be live in the lounge just coming up right after this. And until Wednesday, you babies know what to do. Here's one thing to remember. It's all about the chase. See you guys then. Top guys out.